Tonight, I'm speaking with representatives from CUPE Local 1792, which represents workers at Cornwall's Glen Stor Dun Lodge, the municipally run long-term care facility. Sitting with me tonight is Eileen Raven, president of CUPE Local 1792, and Union Vice President Adam Bergeron. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us,
Thank you
Nick.
for having us.
First, could you both take a moment to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do at the lodge? Eileen.
So I'm one of the registered practical nurses at Glen Stor Dun Lodge, and I started working there February of 2020. And as Nick says, I'm the union president.
And Adam?
So I've been a personal support worker with the lodge for going on 18 years now. I've been involved with the union for quite some time as well, done quite a few roles, and I'm a vice president, as you said, for Local 1792.
Now let's talk a little bit about the last council meeting. As I mentioned, the union was there and seated in the gallery. Why were you at the meeting on Monday, and what issues did you want to draw attention to?
So last Monday, going back, we have a first protest, informative protest in front of the Glen Stor Dun Lodge. If I remember it correctly, it's September 12th. And then following up to that is last Monday when we went in front of the City Hall, because we have the City Council meeting at that time. And we wanted to inform them about the council, to inform them about what's going on at Glen Stor Dun Lodge, because at the end of it, they're the one that's approving budgets or any recommendations from any parts of the city, correct? So.
Yep.
Yeah, and then this came in because of they wanted to implement a new schedule.
Yeah, and Adam, can you tell me a little bit about that new schedule and what are the issues there?
So first of all, this schedule was introduced to us without prior consultation, which is a breach of our collective agreement. It's also against the Ontario Labour Code for anybody that's out there. We were kind of taken aside when we realized the amount of job cuts that were happening. Yep. There was full-time rotations, quite a number of them, anywhere upwards to 20 physicians that were cut out of our bargaining unit. So those people, at the end of the day, when they go to pick a schedule, there's going to end up being layoffs, and if they don't end up in a layoff situation, they may be forced to choose a non-preferred shift that maybe they can't work or doesn't work for their home life or what they have going on personally, right?
Yeah.
So it's putting people in a bad situation, and it's also putting people at risk. We're putting our staff at risk by decreasing levels of staff on the floor, and our residents will end up hurting in the end because of these cuts, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I did ask the city for a statement in response to your concerns, and just to be transparent, I just want to read that out. This is a statement from the city where I asked about concerns around staffing levels and concerns around scheduling, and here was the city's response. The city said, quote, "We have a job for every PSW, RPN, and RN currently employed at Glen Stor Dun Lodge. There is no hiring freeze. In fact, we are currently hiring and recruiting these positions." They list healthcare aide, registered practical nurse, and registered nurse. As for scheduling, they say there is a new schedule change that is designed to balance the clinical schedule. We want to ensure that we have a consistent number of staff, PSW, RPN, and RN on each shift. Some staffing changes will happen, and staff may be offered alternate shifts. As with most long-term care homes in the province, we rely on agency staff to fill gaps in our staffing needs. Most importantly, even with the schedule change, our standard of care will continue, underlined, to remain above the 4-hour direct care minimum as regulated by the province. That is 4 hours per day per resident. We are currently negotiating with CUPE Local 1729 and remain committed to working constructively and in good faith with the union. Above all, resident care remains our top priority, and we recognize that we work in someone's home and we take that responsibility seriously by consistently prioritizing their well-being and comfort, end quote. That was the city's statement. Now, Eileen, would you like to just give me your reactions to what that city said there?
First and foremost, they said that they're currently negotiating with the union, but they did not. They just dropped this thing, that the new schedule, during our labor management meeting, and then we asked questions and they can't answer that because they are not ready to give that answer, and we didn't tell our members about it because we were told not to say anything. And we came to this too because they're saying that with this new schedule, we're still going to give 4 hours care to our residents. We're here fighting for our residents as the workers of Glen Stor Dun Lodge, because they're the one that's going to be affected with this new schedule. They said that we're going to have like staff for all days, evenings, and nights. It's not true. And with our residents now, they work all their lives. Pay their taxes, pay their dues, and now it's time for us to take care of them. And I don't think this new schedule that they're trying to implement is going to do that.
Now, Adam, you also heard what I just read, and what are your thoughts on the city's response?
Just that many parts of that statement are highly inaccurate. I think the truth will come out for us through the grievance procedure. We have the evidence to show what's been happening in the workplace, and that will come out in due time and due process. We're still working through that with the employer right now. I think.
Now, I wanted to ask about what the city said about agency staff, about it being the norm that the agency staff is brought in. Eileen, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, they said there's no hiring freeze.
Yes.
There was a hiring freeze.
Really?
That's during wintertime. I can't remember exactly when it started. It's probably late December or early January, but there was a hiring freeze. I know for a fact there's a lot of people that wanted to apply, but there's no posting online at the City of Cornwall. I think they're making an excuse that they're using agency to plug some of those open positions, but it's because of the hiring freeze that they put on. It's not.
So in the city's view, you're saying that there was no hiring freeze because they were using agency staff to fill positions that would otherwise be taken up by a full-time
Correct.
employee who would be a part of your union.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, Adam, just your thoughts on that. You know, obviously, as Eileen was saying, you're there to serve the residents. They know you. They're familiar with you. How does bringing in agency staff affect that?
So it does affect that because they're not regular staff with our facility and they're not employed there on a regular basis, like full-time, like some of us are. They don't get to know the residents. These residents have the specific routines, they have specific needs, they have care plans that detail exactly what they need throughout a day. And there's no way that somebody walking in off the street is going to ever figure that out, just working a day here and there and coming in off the street. We're with these people day in, day out. We literally spend as much time with them as we do our own families. So we really get to know them so well, and we get to know their families too. And it's the continuity of care that suffers when you have different people coming in all the time.
Now, I wanted to ask you really quickly, Eileen, in the time we have remaining, your collective agreement expired, I believe, last year, or maybe it was in March.
March 31st of this year.
As essential employees, you can't strike. So what are the next steps for you as a union?
So we've already been to mediation. Sorry, Aileen.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Just to go over quick, we've been to mediation, and unfortunately we were unsuccessful there. We did have some agreed to items with the employer, which was good, but it came down to money in the end, as it often does. So we couldn't come to an agreement, so we did file for arbitration. There's still an opportunity for the employer to call us back to the table between now and then if they'd like to get a deal, but
Right.
we'll see about that.
All right. Well, this is definitely an issue that we'll continue to keep a close eye on. Eileen Raven, Adam Bergeron, thank you so much for joining me to shine a light on this really important issue. It's so crucial to make sure that, like you said, Eileen, that our seniors are cared for.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. We appreciate it.